All right, welcome to the spaghetti edition of the Pacific. Welcome to the sick edition. Welcome to
Fucking
the spaghetti
restart.
edition.
Restart.
Welcome to the Movember edition. Welcome to the fantasy face-off edition of the Pacific
Remembrance Day.
Perspectives.
Remembrance Day.
Welcome to the
Don't forget.
Remembrance Day edition of the Pacific. There's a lot of stuff going on of the Pacific Perspectives podcast, episode 5.
That intro made everybody click off already.
They listened to the first 20 seconds and it's like, nah, I'm actually good. I don't want to listen to that today. Well, if you're still here, thank you. If you can't tell, I am horribly sick. I've had a terrible head cold for like a week now. And I'm sure JC's going to get it within a couple weeks. I'm sure it's making it over to that side of the country soon.
I had it a month ago.
Maybe they're going the other way. Maybe they had it first and then they came over here. Well, a lot has gone down, including a great, in my opinion, I don't know about how other people, especially Canucks fans, feel, but a great Oilers and Canucks game. Let me tell you, that was a great one. But a lot of stuff around the league as well, and a couple notes from the Oilers I would really like to discuss here. So, first off, what did we think of that game?
I mean, it was like a really interesting game until Kevin Lankinen decided to stop doing his job. Like, it wasn't as bad as the score would say. It's just the fact that, like, we had a really bad 3 minutes. Like, a really bad 3 minutes. So, like, it was close. And I like that we got contributions from Pedersen and Hronik. Suter is tied for the team lead in goals, which is pretty funny.
That's not even funny. That's pathetic.
I don't think so. I mean, the depth is just stepping up, and at some point the Stars are going to get back to it. Sorry,
Theoretically.
I'm burping from the spaghetti that I just ate. But yeah, I mean, like, it was disappointing. I ended up on the floor. I posted on my story. I was just watching the game upside down for like
That's how you
5
know it's a
minutes
good game.
because I couldn't. Yeah. Do you want to? You can yap about it. I'll just tune you out for a second.
Well, I got to tell you, this was everything I was hoping for from this Canucks game. I knew, and I said during the game, the week before, I didn't think we were actually going to bring our best to this, but we made it it came down to 3-2, right? And at that moment, you can feel it. It's happened many times before. The Canucks are coming back. The Oilers look flat-footed. They're playing not bad, but none of their passes are really connecting. Their chip-ins never seem to find. They never get contested. There's no forechecking going on, and the goalie most definitely is not going to make a tough save. We've seen that before. And then Chris Knobloch, believe it or not, takes a timeout. I do not remember the last time I have ever seen him take a timeout. That's not in the last minute of a game. Just absolutely ridiculous that it took this long to really have that going on, but this was perfectly timed. A perfectly timed timeout. And I'm a big analytics guy. I'm not fully on that, oh, you got like a locker room guy, you got to really have that energy guy. Calming the guys down with that timeout won the game. I fully believe if they don't take that timeout, the Canucks win that game like 5-3. We don't score another goal. But because of that, we just have the energy, we calm it down, and it works out.
Okay, while I'm thinking of it, I have to bring it up because I know you would be bitching about it if it happened to your team. It was clearly a trip on Hughes.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's a momentum swinger because they call a tripping penalty on the Canucks early in the third. I think the Oilers capitalized on that. You have to wonder where the game would have been if the penalty were called earlier. Obviously we lost by a lot, but it was 3-2 at that point. And you don't know what could happen. So that was really frustrating. I don't blame the refs a lot. I don't think they were the sole reason we gave up fucking 7 goals.
Well, yeah.
That was a terrible missed call.
Those missed calls can really hurt your team. And I mean, like, people don't really like to say it, but yeah, like, it absolutely could have, like, if it's called properly, then or when it's not called properly, the team can kind of get angry. And I mean, if you've ever played any sport angry, it's not very, and you don't channel it properly, it's not very good. So I'm not even gonna say you're wrong there at all. And also a side note, I gotta say, I I think I complained about the refs in like the Philly game, and since then, I've watched every minute of Oilers hockey. Not a single complaint. I don't think it's been ridiculously in our favor, but I haven't had like anything to really be mad about, which is rare for me. I feel like because I feel like I'm always very scrutinous. No matter what game I'm watching, I'm always like, yeah, you missed it. It's very clearly game management. NHL is really bad for it. They will always just have a clear pattern of calls. I haven't really seen that with Oilers recently. Like it hasn't been, despite the losses, it hasn't been something I've really noticed at all, which is strange.
Well, it's easier to like the refs when they're helping your team out, I guess.
For that game, I will not deny they were probably on our side, and I don't know. Is it because they've been to the finals? Which is so stupid that that's a thing that you need to go to the finals before like the officials respect you. But like, I honestly, I think that's a thing. Am I stupid?
The answer is yes, you are stupid, but not for that reason. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they like to see the good teams do better, maybe. I don't know. It's a conspiracy. We don't know. I don't want to sound crazy. Crazier.
It's not crazy. I think the only thing with the officials is they don't like young guys. They prefer the vets, and they always prefer the team that's down or has had the least calls that game. That's just a general rule. You will find success following that pattern most of the time.
Well, we definitely have confirmation that they like the team that's had less calls.
Yeah, exactly. Tim Peel. What a moron, by the way.
It wasn't much. He just wanted to give them one.
Well, we just got it. I kind of wanted to give him the call.
He's awful. I hate Tim Peel.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can probably guess our takes on him. But moving on, a further discussion on the Oilers. So the power play in that game was absolutely amazing. It was incredible. I mean, they didn't score on every chance, or even generate a ton, but it's just the movement. Bouchard seemed much more urgent. And looking at the numbers this season, the power play, it's like 27th, I think, basically dead last. And you'd think, okay, they're being a little unlucky. That's kind of true, but they're actually only generating an average amount of chances on the power play. They're actually 15th in expected goals for per game on the power play, which is in previous years they've always, like for the past 3 years, they've been first, second, or just first or second, which is crazy. And it's a complete opposite thing with the PK, where they're currently allowing the third lowest chances, but they have the worst penalty kill. So we could probably infer that that's Skinner's fault, I'd say, just for the special teams.
Do you remember if the goal by Perry was on the power play?
It was.
Okay. That goal was fucking stupid.
It was really good, though.
We can't... Canucks fans can't really be too mad when the stanchion bounce doesn't go our way because of what happened in Game 5 of the Western Conference Finals in 2011, but it was clearly a lucky goal. I mean... Our penalty kill's been good this year. I thought
it was not there, on the power
that's
play.
That's an unlucky play for us. The puck should have bounced out of the zone.
Man, the stanchions have been good to the Oilers lately, I gotta say. In the playoffs, against Vancouver, man, it's going good for them. I gotta say, there's been times where they have terrible luck recently. It's just, it doesn't feel like the Oilers' luck lately. It's swinging the other way, I gotta say. It's definitely swinging the other way.
He has the refs and luck on his side, and he still has won a cup.
Literally,
it's crazy.
Okay, well, there's always this year. He literally has God and the powers that be on his side, and he's going to do it.
Wait, so he has luck and the refs and God on his side, and he doesn't have a Stanley Cup?
He's only got it this year. Previous years he didn't have any of those three. So Canucks, I saw an interesting thing. They are allowing 5 goals a game at home and
So
under
bad.
2 when they're away. Why do the Canucks hate Vancouver?
Okay, it's obviously like a small sample size right now. We're that was
No,
the
I'm
first
sensing a
game
pattern
of a
here.
6-game homestand, so it would be better to look at it after that's over. We've only played like 5 games at home, I want to say, something like that. And I don't know. It's been weird. I think the center ice logo is bad luck. I hated it from the get-go, so I'm not jumping on this bandwagon. I think it was bad luck, and I think we got to switch it back, and then we'll start winning games at home. But
It's
yeah,
the
no,
center ice logo.
it's very annoying to just play like garbage at home. We have 1 win so far, 1 singular win at home. We're almost a
That's
month into the season.
out of 7? That's
I don't like-
insane.
Hang
That's
on.
actually really.
Let me check. I don't. I feel like we've played more games on the road. Also, we haven't played a lot of games. We're like
Yeah, you are last
might be
in
at the
games
bottom
played.
of the play.
So, not entirely fair, but I don't know. For the Oilers as well, I kind of feels like they play a lot better away too. Maybe I don't know. They just want to get away from the wives or something.
Okay, so, well, we know McDavid loves to get away from his wife, if we are remembering that one video. The Canucks have played 6 games at home so far. They are 1, 2, and 3. They have 3 overtime losses at home, which is really
What?
funny.
1, 2, and 3. Bro's counting.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I mean the things that inflate the goals against ones are really just 3 games. It's the opener
So
against
half
Calgary.
of their games.
Yeah, half the games. The other half, it's been fine. Like they were winnable games. It was the Calgary game that killed us, the New Jersey game that killed us, and then the Edmonton game killed us. And I don't know what happened to Lankinen. That penalty kill in the third, where he made that crazy paddle save, and Pedersen made a really nice defensive play on McDavid. It was sick. And then Lankinen just what happened to Lankinen? He was letting in the weakest shots ever.
Honestly, I don't think I blame him for most of those shots. It's the same shots that Draisaitl and Brown have really been taking this entire time. Like the location hasn't changed. It's just I don't want to say it's just regression, but it was due to go in eventually, and he might have just been the victim, especially on a night where they clearly seemed a bit demoralized.
I want to show our visual watchers a photo of me after Connor Brown scored his second of the night. For our audio listeners, it's just me dead on the fucking floor.
Yeah, he's dead. Is what it looks like.
That was when I was watching the game upside down. I heard Connor Brown score. I couldn't really tell what was happening, but I heard Connor Brown score, and I just instantly rolled over onto my face.
Why were you watching the game upside down?
Well, it was I think at that point it was 6-2. Was Connor Brown the last goal?
Yep.
Yeah, it was 6-2. So they'd scored 3 times in very quick succession, and I just kind of crumbled to the floor and was lying there in misery.
Well, maybe next time. I'm actually a little afraid.
I want to say I'm okay now. I'm okay now because I went to the Tinashe concert yesterday, and now I'm just kind of in a daze.
He's healed. I'm actually a little afraid that we're going to sweep the season series, and when that happens, it's going to feel like a bad malaise until the playoffs because we're going to lose in Game 7 if we sweep the season series.
Some of the things you say are just so fucking stupid. It's crazy.
It makes no logical sense. It's a little It requires a little supernatural, involvement. But you can't tell me that that's not going to happen when the Oilers by the way, when we sweep the season series.
The season?
It's just the law of averages. It's just the law of averages.
Well, let me just say, you guys still haven't proven you can beat the Canucks team with Besser and Demko.
That's so annoying. I actually really hope for the next one they're in the
game. You know who won you that game? It wasn't the refs. It wasn't stupid ass McDavid. It wasn't Connor Brown. It wasn't Kevin Lankinen.
It was Dakota Joshua's torn ball.
Tanner Janot, if you're watching this right now, I'm staring at you. I'm staring at you through this camera. I hate you, okay? And this isn't personal.
He heard
okay?
that.
I saw a lot of people attacking you on Instagram. That's messed up, man. That's messed up. You're never going to see this, so I can say whatever I want. I hate you. Why would you do that to my Pookie Bear?
His Pookie Bear is what he said.
You saw the hit, right?
And I quote, "Yeah, it was pretty bad."
That was
actually,
so
I actually
dumb.
meant to talk about that. Do you think 3 games is right, or should
Yeah,
it be a little more?
No, I was fine with 3. I think surprisingly, it's the first time he's ever been suspended, right?
No way.
I thought it was.
Really?
Hang on.
Okay, if it's his first time being suspended, then I think 3 is either right on point or maybe 1 less. If it's a repeat offender like Wilson, it should have been like 10, honestly.
Yeah, I searched up Tanner Janot's suspension history, and I see absolutely nothing else.
Wow.
I don't know really where to go to see.
There should be a detailed thing on it, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
I can't see. I think I read somewhere, and it's the internet, so it could have lied, but I think that might be his first suspension, which is like it's crazy because he's a clown. I mean, he does these kind of things.
He throws a lot of hits, but I mean they must be really good, I guess. They must be clean. I mean,
this was so funny to me. The fact that people were saying Besser needs to keep his head up. His head was
come
up.
on.
His head was completely up. It was a blind side.
There are hits like that where a guy will hit the head, but it'll be like Seth Jarvis like literally kneeled over and Jacob Trouba hits him. It's still bad, but like not suspendable because there's obviously no malicious intent. But Janot there, literally like chicken wing, he is going for the head. He is taking Brock Besser out of the game in order to have a better chance at victory. It's pretty simple.
What? I saw people saying Besser needs to not admire his pass. He's just looking at where the puck is. Are you supposed to just check your rearview mirrors at every single second while you're on the ice? Well, I feel like people can expect that they're not going to get hit in the head.
It's a little ridiculous, yeah. You don't expect to have a guy like running a train right for your head there. So
let's use different phrasing than running a train.
I meant like
Say something else.
A train running. He's a train, okay? Get off the tracks is what I was trying to say. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
All right, so moving on.
I have something to say about Evan Bouchard.
It probably involves
Can I
fantasy.
say something about Evan Bouchard real quick?
Yes.
I have him in fantasy. Edmonton scored 7 goals on us. He didn't get a single point. I hate you, Evan. I hate you and your 40-year-old looking ass face, okay? That's fucked. Like, I was looking at my fantasy, like, oh, they have 7 goals. Surely Bouchard's done something. Maybe I can cope with that. Nope. Nothing. And then on top of that, I picked Hyman in Tim's picks because he had a goal in 3 of his last 4 games. And I figured if he scores, like, at least I have something to like about it. He doesn't score any of the 7. I'm over my last, like, 24 in Tim's picks. I can't get one right.
I was 0 for 6 coming into that night, and I picked Brown to score actually for some reason.
All right, I'm yapping about the Canucks now, real quick. Dakota Joshua, I think, is back, and that's exciting. The lines they were running had him on the 4th line with Ratu and Höglander, which is a sick line, not a 4th line at all. That was a little bit confusing to me. I realized they want to keep together a lot of the lines, especially the 3rd line, because the 3rd line's been good every game they've played. But Dak does not belong on the 4th line, I feel, at this point. There was a time when he did last year, but now, no. But you can't really... I guess, like, DeBrusk on a heater right now. It's just so hard. We're so deep. We're so deep on forward. Like, who do you send to the 4th line if you don't send Dak there, right? Because, like, Suter has been playing well enough to have earned a promotion in the lineup. So I'm okay with that, for now, at least. And then, oh, hey, the Penguins are coming back. It's 6-2. Beauvillier scored.
6-2? Tell me Crosby got a point. Oh, Crosby got a point on Bovidia's goal. I know that for certain.
Wait, is
Please.
it 6-1 or 6-2? I can't tell. Maybe they changed it to 6-1 really fast and I didn't tell.
I didn't get a
I can
notification for the other goal, so.
Okay, it's 6-1. It's 6-1.
Oh.
They're coming back, though. They're coming back. Anyway, Suter, Miller. Okay, Miller and Pedersen need to switch wingers. It should be Miller and Pedersen have to switch wingers because it's currently Suter, Miller, Lekari-Maki, and then DeBrusque, Pedersen, Garland. DeBrusque and Miller worked well, so I'd like to see that. You have to have Lek with Pedersen. What are we doing? And then Garland would just get tossed up there. At some point, we need to bring back the lifeline. Go to Josh. Dakota Joshua, Teddy Bluger, and Connor Garland. But like,
from an outside
I don't
perspective,
like Joshua in the fourth. It makes me feel bad. I guess it's fine because he's got to become acclimated to the speed of the game again. So I guess for now it's fine, but I don't want him to spend that much time on the fourth line.
from a completely objective, unbiased point of view, which is my view, not yours, Dakota Joshua is a bottom six player. So I don't know if he's a fourth liner per se, but if you have him on the fourth line, like you said, they're deep. What's not to like? Like, I don't know. Personally, I think they gotta stick to kind of what the Oilers do, where they play their top players a little more, but they still give. They play the top line kind of as the entire top six, and then they have the bottom nine all each playing similar minutes at 5v5. Like, you got to play like Pedersen and Miller together, I feel like, to get them both going. Wouldn't that be a good idea? Just throwing out ideas from an Oilers fan perspective.
I mean, I wanted to see Pedersen, Miller, Besser. I wanted to see the Lotto line back together at some point. Obviously, that can't happen currently. But the problem is we don't really have someone to fill in at 2C. Like, we don't have a 2C. We can try it. We can try to put Suter there or something. But Suter as a 2C isn't really
That would be disgusting.
a long-term option,
Not
I
gonna
would
lie.
say. But I just want to say, you moved off from the topic too fast. Dakota Joshua is definitely not a fourth liner. He's, I would say, middle six winger at this point. 18 goals is middle six production.
Yeah,
Don't disrespect Joshua. I know
I
you
don't
hate
know,
people with
like-
cancer. We've covered that. But
he played one season though. Like, I don't.
yeah, and it was middle six production. Currently, at this
We'll
point in
see.
time, he can be labeled as a middle six winger. But he's like exactly a third liner.
Exactly a
Not a
third
fourth
liner.
liner. Absolutely
Okay.
not a fourth liner.
All right.
He's
All right.
exactly a
Well,
third
you said middle six, so
Not
that
a
kind of
fourth liner.
suggests that he can play on the second line and be good.
He good. I thought that when he got back, they would play Dak, Pedersen, Garland.
That would. That wouldn't be a bad second line.
Garland
Hold on,
is
that
doing
wouldn't be
amazing
the
so
first
far.
line though, right?
No, it would be DeBrusque, Miller, Besser first line.
That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that.
DeBrusque, Miller, Besser sucks.
It's just hearing those names together, it doesn't sound like that could be a top 10 first line. You know what I mean?
It's been pretty good, especially recently while DeBrusque is on a hot streak. But like, that's a good line. That is a 100-point player, a 40-goal scorer, and a good two-way forward who has probably 60-point potential. I think that's fine. I mean, you're playing Vasily Podkolzin on the second line.
60 points?
You don't think Jake DeBrusque has 60? I'm not saying he will get it. I'm saying he has the potential to get 60 points.
No. That is.
You know what his career high in points is?
If it's 60, shoot me now.
Well, it's 50.
Exactly. And that was with the Bruins.
Okay. You know how many games that 50 points was in?
76.
64, fuck you.
Oh no.
50 and 64. That is 60-point potential.
Oh no. All right, we're cutting this out. They can't see me get completely owned twice in the same podcast. Okay, so we are in for an interesting week in fantasy here because we're actually playing each other. I'd have to see what the schedule looks like.
Wait, before we go to that, did you want to talk about Kaprizov?
No, I'm good on Kaprizov.
Okay, great.
So the points right now are currently, get this, it's a real nail biter. It's 1.15 to 1.2. JC currently leads it by 0.05. That's huge. It's huge.
Stop the count! Stop the count!
Just a massive lead coming into the evening. So how are you going to cope with the loss after I beat you by about 100 points?
Well, realistically, fantasy hockey's for fucking losers, so... whatever.
What's the top prize? Like $300?
Yeah, but, like, I make that in my sleep.
No, you don't. Not until they start ad monetization on Instagram, and then we'll start reeling it out.
Hey, who wants to sponsor the Pacific Perspectives podcast? We're looking for sponsors. Please sponsor our podcast. It's really serious and good. Okay, so the interesting thing about this fantasy week is there's a certain person who's supposed to come off my IR. Do you know who that is?
Ooh.
You're going to check?
Valeri Nichushkin. I have him as well. You know...
Well, not in this league.
Not in this league, no. Man. I mean, he is probably, not going to throw out any allegations, a bad person. He has been on the special assistance program for, like, coke, like 5 times. Praying for him there. However... he is that dog when it comes to fantasy. Hits, shots, blocks, points. He's got it all. Per game, I think he could probably easily be in the top 50 in fantasy players. Data-driven hockey. Shout out to data-driven hockey. His model that I've got is a bible for me. It's led me to 12th place in a 20-man league currently. He has him 34th per game overall. And I'm liking my prospects when he comes back into the lineup on Friday, I think.
I'm excited to drop Trent Frederick or Andrew Kopp. I got some shitters in my lineup right now.
Ooh.
You're kind of facing me at a good time.
Connor Murphy? Jordan Greenway.
Connor Murphy's actually good. Connor Murphy's fine.
Oh, okay.
2.1 average.
Dude. Kotkaniemi? He's
also, like, he's better than a lot of the other ones I have. He's averaging 2.2.
2.2? Wow.
It's Frederick and Kopp and
Josh Manson.
Kuzmenko sucks currently.
And Jordan Greenway. He's going to bounce back. Yeah, Jordan Greenway's, I'm not going to lie, that's kind of a... If you look at my team compared to yours, frankly, I don't think it's even close. I mean...
I just picked up Greenway today. Calm down, buddy. The Devils are sliding now. Devils are going to suck. You're not getting any points from them.
Whoa.
Garland's better.
They lost one game to the Sharks.
Cool. William Karlsson isn't going to get a point every single game. Oh, he already didn't against Seattle. So that's cool.
Would you say
Kyrou
Seattle?
Sucks. Edvinsson sucks. Wallman missed a step in his injury recovery, so he sucks. Ekholm
injury
sucks.
recovery, hold on.
Sergachev sucks. And we forgot about Siplikov. We did forget about Siplikov. Averaging 2.3. And you still have Yaroslav Askarov. Why? Why do you have Askarov still?
Listen, if ESPN was a good fantasy app like Yahoo Sports, shout out Yahoo Sports, come sponsor us, they would have an NA slot, and I would be able to have him on my roster without it affecting my current roster space.
Just drop him then.
Okay, but for now, he's going to... Okay, when they call him up next week, after they trade Mackenzie Blackwood to the Oilers for Calvin Pickard and a 7th round pick, I'm from the future. I'm telling you what's going to happen. he's going to, at worst, be a 1B and get like 35% of starts. And it's against the... And I gotta say, in this league's goalie settings, it's still harsh, but it's a goalie. And there aren't many goalies left.
I promise you, nobody wants to pick him up right now. You could just, like... You could drop him, get a free slot, and then just, like, have Twitter notifications on so you can pick him up whenever he gets called up, if he even gets called up at some point.
Yeah, that might be the move. Moving on, so...
No, not moving on, because your other goalies are Peter Mrazek and Ville Husso. You can drop Husso, bro. Nobody wants Husso. He's averaging negative 1.7. You can drop him,
so
man.
Bad. It's so dry out there, man. It's so dry. It's so dry.
I'm picking up like 4 goalies per week. I just look at who's starting. It's very easy.
Peter Mrazek is like keeping me above water. I'm drowning in the middle of the ocean. I'm at Point Nemo right now, and Peter Mrazek is reaching out his hand on a flying little raft in the middle of the ocean. And Ville Husso and Yaroslav Askarov are like feeding me grapes.
The thing is, like, he's good. Mrazek's been good, but he's not going to get those win points always. So you're fucked, man.
I'm blaming it on the goalie settings. I'm sorry. It's true. Also,
I really had a funny day a couple days ago on the 9th because I had 2 goalies, and it was UC Saros and Jordan Binnington. And UC Saros pitched a 26 save shutout, got me 13.22 points. Jordan Binnington led in 8 goals, got me negative 5.32. I don't know what happened there.
I wonder what Patrick Kane is doing right now.
What is Patrick? Did you trade Patrick Kane?
Yeah, actually. Okay, so for those who don't know, Patrick Kane was in a package that JC gave me. I think we mentioned it in like the first episode that he gave me for UC Saros. I'm just gonna be honest. I got completely fleeced there. We'll see in the long run because, well, I don't know. But I mean, I do like the other pieces you gave me. I'm not gonna lie. You gave me like, you gave me Ekholm. So I mean, that's worked out pretty well. But I think I gave Kane for. I think Mick gave me. Who did he give me? Hold on. Oh yeah, I got Dylan Genther back. That's what it was.
Oh.
So that was a complete fleece. I mean,
one of the pieces I really liked in that Saros trade, besides Saros, is Jeremy Lazone. He has 0 points in 15 games, but he's always good for like at least 1 point just because of how much he hits and he can block shots. He's averaging 1.5 in fantasy with no points.
With no points. I mean, that's
I love that.
That's still a drop,
really
I gotta say.
And then you also gave me Manson in that, and Manson's meh.
Manson's been really bad. Can I just say? Someone mentioned it in the comments. Which, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, always comment because I always read every single comment. Someone said that Manson sucks.
I'm going back to it because there was a comment that I enjoyed. But say your thing.
And I looked at Natural Stat Track to look at the just expected goal fantasy numbers. He's awful. He's been bad analytically, but like this year especially, terrible defensively. That's part of the reason. Accidentally muted my mic. That is part of the reason why Colorado has sucked so bad. Is that middle pairing really bad?
Yeah. Okay. The comment that caught my attention was Nux memes. Why are you not an Ottawa fan if you live in Ottawa? And I'll answer that quickly. I need to make a story highlight of this because I get asked this like all the time, and I'm kind of tired of answering, honestly. But it's a valid question. I've just said it so many times, I get bored of myself. I'm not from Ottawa. I came here for school. I'm in my 4th year. I'm from London, Ontario. I picked the Canucks at random. I grew up in a Leafs household. I didn't want to cheer for the Leafs once I turned like 10. I wanted to get more into hockey. I wanted my own team. I chose the Canucks randomly. I've never been to Vancouver in my life. And fuck the Sens.
He's a poser.
I
really hate the Sens.
I wasn't here for 2011, which I feel like I dodged a bullet on that. But I'm definitely not a poser. So, watch your fucking mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're here right now for the Oilers' dominance over the Canucks for the next decade. So I wouldn't I don't think we can call you a poser for sticking with him for that.
A decade? Oh
Yeah, you
no,
heard
I'm
it.
so scared of Sam O'Reilly in the year 2033. No.
The 4C. Adam
Oh my
Henrique
God,
at
Ty
age
Emberson.
49 is gonna score the dagger.
Yeah, I'm so terrified. Fuck you. I've never listened to 32 Thoughts in my life.
You've never listened to 32 Thoughts in your life.
I've never okay. I've listened to 2 podcast episodes in my life of any podcast. The first one was when Bo Horvat was on Spittin' Chicklets a few years ago, and he was still on the Canucks then. And I was curious. I wanted to see what he had to say. The other one was this like ghost story thing. It was like reading some ghost story that I did it for
Those are
class.
fun, man.
And that's it. That's all the podcast listening I've ever done.
You need to listen to 32 Thoughts just to get some inspiration for this, you know?
But if I have the time to listen to something, I'm gonna listen to music.
That's true. That's fair. I mean, it depends on like it. Like if I'm like going somewhere where I can't like be occupied with anything else, but I don't want to just listen to music. It's different moods, but sometimes you can be into. Well, for 32 Thoughts, I don't really like to listen to podcasts. I almost said podcasts. I don't really love to listen to podcasts. It depends, but mostly for the hockey ones, it's like I want to have some information. And with 32 Thoughts, they give us like information. They give us insight. We give you discussion and terrible insight. So I don't know why you're watching or listening, but anyways, we actually
Really
that
more of a
got brought
comedy
up because we were
podcast.
talking about doing a Q&A possibly at the end of all of these, because if we're going to do it once a week, I feel like there's a lot of questions that could be brought up, and I constantly in my DMs, since we've started, there's probably been about 10 people each week saying, can you do a Q&A for this podcast, because we did it for the first one. So let us know if you would like us to do one every single week. All right, welcome to the Q&A section of the podcast. Getting right into it, this question from T Melly 08, great name. What is the best contract on the Oilers and Canucks from the opposite team? So I'm going to say the best contract for the Canucks, and you're going to say the best one for the Oilers, in your opinion.
Okay, so it's pretty easy for this. Not currently because he sucks, but paying a 50 goal scorer $5.5 million, I mean, that's just got to be it. Like, obviously, you're getting great value from McDavid for 12.5, but you're still paying him 12.5. So I think the obvious pick is Hyman at 5.5. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, but for the sake of this answer, hopefully he can pick it up and actually be worth that. I mean, he is 32. He's still got 4 years left on it, so that's a little worrying, but still, I mean, 50 goals for 5.5 million. But an honorable mention I want to give to Matthias Janmark, who they have locked up for another
Really?
3 years at a very, very low sum. I enjoy Matthias Janmark as a player. I feel like he performs really well against the Canucks, and that's probably why I might be overrating him. But he's
Yeah.
he's a really killer. And, I mean, he can provide offense sometimes. He's a fast guy. I think he's a really good and important part of Edmonton's depth, and they have him locked up for 3 years at a very, very low contract. So, honorable mention to Matthias Janmark.
You know what? I gotta massively disagree. I think he's paid appropriately. He can be really, really bad at even strength at points. He's an elite penalty killer, but that's where most of his value comes from, sadly.
Well, with the cap going up, I mean, 1.45 million doesn't do anything to your hit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, like it's not going to hurt us at all. It's just sometimes even it feels like I really wish he could just play 4 minutes a night only on the penalty kill, and he's like absolutely perfect there. But at even strength, he genuinely does the most stupid stuff.
Again, maybe he just locks in against the Canucks, and that's why I notice it. But I feel like he's a good player, and the Edmonton's forward depth is probably the weakest point of the team besides goaltending. It's close between those two. So I think
You could
having a
argue
guy
that,
who's
yeah.
like an actual NHL player is kind of important for that.
I mean, they have actual NHL players able to. They have 12 actual. They have more like 15 actual NHL players. You know what I mean? So
Well, their depth. I mean, if Like, this is the part where the Canucks really shine, also in goaltending, but in terms of depth forwards, like, our worst depth forward last year scored 12 goals. It was Sam Lafferty.
Yeah, the depth is a little
You
ridiculous.
you have, like, 10-point players.
10-point play. Okay, well, I'm not gonna sit here and argue with you that Derek Ryan is better than like Dakota Joshua or anything like that, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It used to be really bad,
Connor Brown last year.
really bad. But Connor Brown is good. Connor Brown is good. You saw it firsthand.
Apparently now he is. But he only had 1 goal before that game. That pisses me off.
I think he had like 5 expected goals, and Knobloch said when a guy gets
Who
like 5
cares?
expected goals, they're going to score another one. So he was right. He scored 2.
Okay, go on to the Canucks' best contract.
So-
What is the best Canucks contract in
For
your
the
opinion?
Canucks, long term, they don't really have any good contracts long term. I'm not gonna lie. Short term, like Quinn Hughes for under 8 is ridiculous. He's worth like 12, 13, and maybe even double that, to be honest. And yeah, I mean, like under 8 is part of the reason why they're able to be so good with their depth forwards and actually spend money on people. It's tough. It's really tough. I think I'm just going to say Miller at 8 million. And I don't think it's that much of a steal. I don't think it's that much of a steal. Like, I think he's worth
It
10.
definitely is. It will be a steal. The first half of his contract will be a steal, and then it's kind of gonna even out, I think. And then by the end of it, it's gonna be like, damn, we're still paying this guy $8 million a year. But
I don't know if he's gonna fall off like that. But
he's gonna be quite old when he's not gonna be like a 100-point player anymore.
No, he's
But
not.
he's not gonna be like bad. I think that is definitely a very, very worthy contract. And you know what? I can admit I was wrong. I wanted that contract to go to Bo. And shout out Bo. Nothing against him. But
Horvat's
he's
still good.
simply not a 100
Still
player.
kicking.
He is very good. No, Bo is very good. But it was clear that we made the right choice, and I'm glad Bo is thriving. But we needed Miller.
That is crazy to think about. They were going to dish Miller for like nothing.
Yeah.
Same with Garland.
I will say, the Besser contract was amazing, but that's obviously ending after this year. The DeBrusque contract is good. I think 5.5 million for that guy is like, it's pretty much average, I would say. I don't think you were getting DeBrusque for less than 5.5 million.
I think it's a good free agency contract. I don't think he's worth 5. I think he's worth just under 5. But for free agency and on a long-term deal, it's okay.
I think it's fine.
Relative to,
and then,
he probably could have got 6.
Garland's
So.
contract is looking pretty good currently. They have a lot of really good depth contracts. Like Blueger at 1.8 is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's the
Sherwood
thing.
at 1.5 is looking amazing.
Hoglander.
Hoglander signed for $3 million for 3 years. That's going to be great because that's like he's going to be 24 when that kicks in.
And the
So
Darnay
like,
contract is just amazing.
We have a lot of really good depth contracts, but I do agree that a bunch of our. What did you say?
The Darnay contract is just amazing.
Oh. I mean, like, whatever. On forward, we have a lot of good depth contracts. I do agree that a lot of like Pedersen making 11.6 million was an overpay. Even if he gets
You got to pay those
to be
guys.
Pedersen.
You got to pay those guys.
You do, yeah. But it's not like the greatest of contracts. I'm scared to see what Betzer's next one is going to be. Peronic is an overpay for sure, 100%. But it was also very instrumental to our success to have like an actual 2C or 2D. So
It's not looking too good there. I like this one. So that question was from T Melly 08. Thank you very much. And also, by the way, we don't just want hockey questions here. We'd also be good with just general life questions as well. You know, what's your favorite cereal? Stuff like that. I'm not going to answer what's my favorite cereal though. Yeah, exactly. Vector, by the way.
we'd only do like our plan was to do like a couple hockey questions and then just one general one per session. So make sure it's good so we pick it.
Yeah, exactly. So, this one from Rojas Raleigh. Nice name. Who is the most obscure Oiler or Canuck you can think of from the past 5 years? What's
You
the
go
first? What's
first
the
on this
first
one.
guy that me first?
Yeah.
Okay, the first guy that comes to my mind. I was going to say Anton Slepyshev, but he left in 2019 or 2018, so he doesn't count. Last 5 years, Gaetan Haas.
Is that obscure?
That okay. He was so obscure that he answered my DM within like a couple of minutes on Instagram. So
Okay, but I mean, Bedard did that for me before.
he won't do it now. I'll tell you that. Okay.
Well, no, he won't. I would get Hollywooded. I've gotten Hollywooded. I asked him
Yeah,
if
you
I
get
should
big
draft him in fantasy.
Well,
I feel like
that's the first guy I thought of, but I don't know. I'm at a loss here. I can't think of anyone that's really that. Okay, Joachim Nygaard. Maybe.
yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
The reason I don't think that Gaetan Haas is like that obscure is just because he's like from an obscure hockey country, and I mean he plays internationally, so we see him enough and we
That's
hear
true.
about him enough when they talk about the Swiss people.
He
So,
is Switzerland's like 2C.
as an Oiler, definitely obscure. As a hockey player overall, I would say Nygaard is a better option.
Yeah, I haven't even checked on Nygaard once, but Haas I have. What about for the Canucks?
Well, I was pondering this. I mean, the 2021 season was certainly an interesting one when everything fell apart, and there was good old. There are a couple here. A really good one is Tyler Grayovac, who I used to call Gravel Cat. Then there's Jace Harluck, who recently signed with a new team over in like the KHL or Europe or something, wherever he is now. But now one that's coming to my head right now, and I don't think this is that obscure because it was kind of more recent. But this is a crazy pull, and there's no way you've thought of this guy in like a long ass time.
Let's see.
Juho Lammikko.
No, I knew that guy. I knew him. That was actually less obscure than whatever the guys you just. I actually had no idea what you were mentioning before, but I know Juho Lammikko.
What was the last time? When was the last time you thought of Juho Lammikko?
Probably like 2022.
Real ones remember how insane the line of Mott, Lammikko, Highmore was for us back when we were garbage. It was so fun to watch. I don't know why they were good, and then we lost all of them, like immediately.
What is? I wonder what
genuinely
Matthew
good
Highmore is
fourth
up to right now.
He's been bouncing around. I think he's in the AHL right now, but also he might be on Ottawa again. I think.
Oh yeah,
I think
he
he's
does
on
sound like an Ottawa
Ottawa.
guy.
I feel like he's played an NHL game this season.
Has he? Has he
Yeah,
really?
he's played 7. Wait, no, that was last season.
Oh.
He played NHL games last season.
Okay. So he's still
Ottawa.
kicking. He's still alive.
He played 2 career games for St. Louis.
Oh,
Sick. And he's currently in Belleville doing. Well, he's not good. He's not good. He has 2 points in 6 games.
oh, jeez. Well, he's in Belleville. He's probably not doing too well.
But yeah, my answer would be Tyler Grayovac because
I honestly no idea who that is, so I think that's a good poll. I know who Juho Lammikko and Grace Howerluck is, though.
Did you say Grace?
Did you say who is it?
Jace.
Jace.
Jayce.
Okay, yeah, Jace Howerluck. I'm very aware of him and Juho Lammikko. Not sure what they're doing
Tyler
right now. though.
Grayovac. Let's see. He's on Kunlun Red Star. Oh my God.
China!
Okay. His last season. Well, okay. He played 8 games in the 2019-2020 season for the Canucks. 14 games in the 2020-2021 season. And that was it. He got loaned to the Manitoba Moose and then went to the KHL.
He got loaned
So he
to.
played-
He got loaned to
That
the
is definitely
Jets
the best
AHL
answer.
team.
It has to be the best answer. 22 games for us. From 2019 to 2021.
Oh, that's
and he
pretty good.
scored 6 points.
That's
He scored 6 points and 5 were goals.
hey. He
Shout out to you, Gravel Cat. I hope you're killing it in Kunlun Red Star.
Let's go. Any coon looners in the chat? Let me know if you're a coon looner.
That sounds like a really, really bad word. That sounds like a slur.
Yeah, I think that might be a slur somewhere. Probably in another language. So, lastly, thank you for that question, Rojas Raleigh. Lastly, we have a question from Demelo72. What should the Penguins do? Should they fire the coach, trade players? What is wrong with them? I have a couple thoughts on this. They're currently second, or is it second or third? They're doing very good at generating chances. They have a similar problem with the Oilers right now, where they're not finishing. But I'd imagine part of that has to do with how bad the goalies is. Even Yoel Blomqvist is kind of caving right now. That's because they're actually bottom three, as they are top three in generating chances. They are bottom three in allowing chances. So it's not doing too very. Ooh, it's actually 6-1 right now. You know what? They haven't allowed a goal in 30 minutes.
Why? Okay. Well, what I think Pittsburgh should do is just like embrace the fact that they're really bad, because we all know the league is going to gift them the number 1 overall pick at some point in the next 3 years.
Ooh.
So they're good. I mean, yeah, they're fine. They're just gonna get like they got gifted Lemieux, and then they almost went under again. They got gifted Crosby and Malkin at a similar time. So yeah, I mean, they're fine because the league is just gonna give them a generational talent, and then people will show up again. I mean, I'm looking at the seats right now. I know it's a 6-1 game, but I looked at the start of the third period, and a lot of the seats were empty at the start of the third. Pittsburgh fans are awful. Sorry to NHL breakers, but Pittsburgh fans are awful. And they just need to have a generational talent to show up to games, and the league will do that for them. If they actually win a lottery in the next 3 years, I'm going to cry myself to sleep for a month straight.
The chances of that, I feel like, are like pretty reasonably high. Like 1 and 2, I feel like that would probably happen because
it would be so funny. It would be so funny.
It's going like the second they're able to, they do. Well, actually, I think last year they were able to and they didn't. But
realistically,
honestly,
though, like the first step in my mind is you got to get rid of Mike Sullivan. I mean, he's a good coach. He got them. He was the best coach in the league 8 years ago. But that was 8 years ago. He's not a good
years ago. Yeah,
he's not the coach for this team anymore, and they're only holding on to him because of his legacy, because he got them those back-to-back cups. You got to just let it go. You got to not feel bad anymore. He's driving your team into the ditch. And people love Mike Sullivan, so they're not going to love to hear this. But, you know, like, I'm not even dissing him. I think he can be a good coach elsewhere. That's sometimes what a coach needs.
Yeah.
You just need to go somewhere else to become better. Like Sheldon Keefe is going to New Jersey. He's going to be a lot better than in Toronto.
You know how much I
need to change scenery, and sometimes the team needs a different person at the helm because it's not working anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you know how much I love to agree with you, but I think I completely agree with this. I mean, I honestly do think the personnel on this team could make you to the playoffs. Not anymore.
You thought the personnel on this team could make the Eastern Conference Final.
Okay, with the right
Let's not
coach.
say playoffs.
Bring in Jay Woodcroft. You know what? I've had it. Bring in Jay Woodcroft. This team goes to the conference finals 21-22 Oilers style. That's your answer.
I would mess with. I think Jay Woodcroft should get a job, so I would mess with that.
Yeah, why is he unemployed?
I think they got to do something because Crosby. I mean, what he's gonna have like. What was how many years was the contract he signed for? He's going to play another 2 years after this one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to waste the end of one of the greatest hockey players we've ever seen's career.
Shameful. Absolutely shameful.
They got to get rid of him. I want to see Crosby. I want to see one more round of Crosby.
It's really depressing seeing that team suck and seeing the look on like Crosby's face because he's not going to leave. He's never going to request a trade. They could finish last for the next 5 years. He would not. And
Stockholm Syndrome, man.
Yeah, same with Malkin. I mean, actually, he almost left that one time. Letang.
Yeah.
Carlson might leave. I got to say, I think they will probably trade Carlson if they're in the gutter.
Yeah, Carlson, I mean, doesn't need to have as much loyalty to that team as the others. The Stockholm Syndrome hasn't set in despite him being the one Swede. But yeah, I would want to see him traded because the The
to the
retirement
Oilers.
home strategy did not work. These unks are not cutting it.
Nope, it's not working. All right, that was this edition of the Pacific Perspectives podcast. Do you have any parting words for our listeners?
Tanner Janot, I just like you very much, and I cannot wait to see you again on January 16th. Have fun with that.